Meanwhile, a judge is considering whether to block Biden's new asylum rules. Remember, the White House put new rules in place in May after Title 42 expired. Under the new rules, migrants need to use a government app to get an asylum appointment and won't qualify unless they've tried to seek asylum on another country on their way to the U.S. Joining me now to go in depth on this legal battle is Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, immigration attorney and board member at Vicina, an immigration and justice advocacy group. Kate, the Biden administration's new rules on asylum were imposed back in mid-May, as we've said before. In that time, how have those rules impacted migrants seeking asylum? What have you heard from asylum seekers?
Sure. So the rules say that migrants must use the app to obtain an appointment to come to the border and ask for asylum, and that they're ineligible for asylum if they're apprehended crossing the border. Also that they must apply for asylum through the countries through which they have traveled. So it has drastically reduced the numbers of migrants who would even be eligible to apply for asylum. The practical impact of this is that people who are seeking protection in the United States are not allowed to. They're stuck in Mexico in tent camps, or they're even sent to the interior of Mexico. And the stories that I hear are from people who have fled very difficult conditions. These are not journeys that people take voluntarily or willingly. It's when they have no other choice. They're running away from danger. And they talk about how painful, how difficult, how dangerous, how harrowing the journey is on the way to the border to seek asylum. It's a very difficult time.
Yeah. Immigration advocates say the administration's approach is illegal, but for their part, the administration is arguing that there are several legal pathways for migrants to apply for asylum. We just talked about one of them. They can apply for an appointment through the CBP One app. They can get an exemption if they're ill or in danger, or if they come from certain countries, they can apply for parole. Why is this not enough?
Sure. Those things are true. There is an app through which people can get appointments. It's notoriously very glitchy, difficult for people to use if they have dark skin, and difficult for people to use, obviously, if they don't have access to technology or if they don't know how to read or write. The parole programs are very limited. So it greatly restricts desperate people's access to protection. And what I can say as an immigration lawyer in Texas, I've been doing this over 15 years. I've worked with thousands of asylum seekers, is that pre-COVID, pre-Title 42, we had a functioning way of processing asylum seekers. And it's in our laws, it's in international treaties that we've signed, that when someone wants to come and ask for protection from our nation, we will screen them and offer it to them if they qualify. And we had a system for doing that. We tore it down, and now we're just putting back fractions of it. And meanwhile, desperate people are suffering. We're not complying with our laws as they are written. And I think we're going to see that next week when we see a court order coming down. My guess is that these policies are going to be enjoined because they're not in line with the laws that Congress has passed.
Yeah, so far the administration's rules seem to be working as intended. Illegal border crossings are at their lowest levels in the last 2 years, but away from the border, some cities like New York City are struggling to house and care for asylum seekers. We talked about the flyer that's been passed out. Please consider another city as you make your decision about where to settle in the U.S. What's the message to those communities who are hearing their leaders talk about a migrant crisis?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we need to keep in mind as we look at these fluctuations of border apprehensions, there's a lot that goes into this data. And we have to keep in mind that Title 42 closed the border for 3 years. And so when Title 42 was lifted, there was a lot of anticipation on the part of migrants who might finally have the opportunity to apply for asylum. So we saw some inflated numbers, and now we're seeing decreased numbers. And this is to be expected. We're going to see bumps and peaks and valleys as a result of these policies. And what I would share is that we can get to a place of equilibrium where we can offer protection to the people who qualify under our laws. This is the United States of America. It is who we are, and we have the capacity to help people who are fleeing danger. We didn't do it in World War II. We didn't protect Jewish refugees who were fleeing the Holocaust, and we decided as a nation we weren't going to do that again. And we're returning to old patterns and behaviors, and I would encourage people not to be so terrified of migrants. These are people who are brave, they're tenacious, they're courageous, they've been through difficult struggles, and they've gotten themselves all the way to the United States border. And in the people that I know who have gone through these journeys, I'm very impressed by who they are, and they are people who I do want around me and in my country.
Yeah, we only have 30 seconds here, Kate. Zooming out a bit, what is our legal responsibility as a nation when it comes to asylum seekers? What's the argument for loosening the asylum restrictions put in place by the Biden administration with the last 30 seconds we have left here?
Sure. We've signed international treaties. We've passed laws that said when someone is fleeing persecution on account of a protected ground, race, religion, nationality, political opinion, membership in a particular social group, we will provide them with protection. This is in our laws, and it's for 70 years we have been following these laws. It's not up to one president to break all of that down during one administration.
Yeah. Attorney Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your